Hello and welcome to Movie Vault 666. My name's Chris, and recently I reviewed a film called A Time to Die, a poorly paced action movie bought from a bargain bin. And even though that film sucked, it didn't really teach me anything, because apparently I went out and bought another poorly paced action movie called City of Fear. It's about a reporter as well, and it's poorly paced. Well, it's got a slightly better pace than A Time to Die, I'll give it that. It's got a martial artist in it, in the form of Gary Daniels, who apparently plays a half-wit reporter according to the back of the box. Not the back of the box is necessarily all that reliable, because it says, Dr. Venko had supposedly died in a boating accident? Blurb aside, the film begins with our hero, Steve Roberts, walking to his car before a mysterious assailant attacks. Steve fights back as the credits roll, but is defeated. However, it turns out that the attacker is his martial arts trainer, who apparently holds his lessons in an abandoned warehouse filled with cars that could be easily damaged, which raises a lot of questions. Although not as many as the sensei's accent, which is so thick that it actually makes most of his lines of dialogue incomprehensible. Something I have to get used to when we meet other characters in the film.
Until you realize that the universe is not determined by the physical, but how it works in harmony with your mind and spirits, you will never reach your kanketsu completion.
Speaking of which, in the next scene, several Bulgarians arrive at Steve's door to talk to him about an old friend called Charlie Banko.
Bulgaria.
He's doing genetic research in the city of Sofia.
Well, that sounds like Charlie. He does like living on the edge.
Charlie wants Steve to cover a piece of research he's been doing in an article. However, Steve is a bit reluctant as he doesn't normally cover science pieces. Charlie, however, is offering $5,000 and free flight if he accepts, which leads to Steve accepting, funnily enough. So Steve flies out to Bulgaria where a taxi driver called Basil takes him to Charlie's house. When Steve arrives, he finds a funeral procession leaving the house. According to Basil, it's for Charlie. This is followed up by a funeral scene attended by all sorts, shifty-looking men in suits, government and military officials, and several women in black dresses. However, as soon as Steve room clearer Roberts makes the scene, they pretty much immediately all leave. Well, all except
Bill Phillips,
who introduces himself.
who's Charlie's friend. Need a ride? Yeah, I do.
Good luck with that then. They then proceed to talk for a bit until...
You're welcome to stay at my place tonight if you want.
Thanks, that's kind of you. But I think I'll be better off in a hotel. Can you recommend one?
Yeah.
At which point things seem a little awkward. The sexual tension is just kind of hanging there, isn't it?
All said, they'll take care of you.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Thanks for everything.
Okay, have a good flight back.
Thanks.
See you.
Bill.
They're not gonna do it, are they?
One second.
Yeah.
That girl at the cemetery, the one the cops kept me from, who was she?
Okay, phew. So with neither Steve nor Bill brave enough to admit their true feelings for each other, Steve goes back to his room and tries to phone home.
Hello,
Operator.
can I help you?
Yeah, I've been trying to get in touch with the States for hours now. What's the hell's going on?
The satellite is down. But you can call the UK if you wish.
Oh sure, that's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? Anyway, a leaflet gets pushed underneath Steve's door and he opens it just in time to see a man running away. Although, I hope he's supposed to be part of the film and he's not just a stagehand who was too slow to get out of shot in time. It would make sense given that Steve doesn't seem at all surprised by him. The leaflet turns out to be for a strip club, where the lady from earlier apparently works, and also a strip club that delivers leaflets door to door. At any rate, Steve orders a taxi to try and drive down there later, when suddenly...
Hang on a second.
Yeah, I'll be right there.
Can you give me a taxi for this evening? For 6:30?
I'll be right there.
Apparently he really meant right over there, because he didn't even move, he just sort of edited his way over there. At any rate, opening the door reveals...
Colonel Koslovska, Bulgaria Security Division. May we speak?
Yeah, her and two goons who apparently just invite themselves in whilst,
What can I do for you, Colonel Koslovska?
Kozlovska. In Bulgarian, it's Kozlovska.
Yeah. Well, anyway, she questions Steve in a coherent, logical, and okay, she just in this.
Is this normally your bowl of soup?
I got nothing.
Not really.
And so the soup is lost forever, and oh, okay, I'm kidding. Instead, the film finally gets to the point of this scene.
You should stick to stories you can handle. Да?
Now just wait a minute. You come in here insinuating that a friend of mine is doing something illegal, and then you tell me to butt out? That it's not my bowl of soup?
Wow, I'm so going to quote that out of context. At any rate, Steve walks down to his taxi, a scene so dramatic that it prompts this music. Well, after that, I really feel like I need a drink. Okay, in fairness to the movie, it does actually turn out that two men are following him, but it still seems like it could have been better shot so that the music seemed less retarded. Steve drives out to nightclub, according to the door at any rate, and then pole dancing occurs until Steve decides to head out the back to find the woman from the funeral who, as it turns out, was called Alexa. First, Steve has to get past a difficult bouncer. Alright, some action! And it's over.
I guess Americans.
Steve enters Alexa's dressing room and talks to Alexa, who reveals she already knows his full name.
I'm sorry.
Steve tells her that he's suspicious about the details of Charlie's death, and the two agree to meet the next day for breakfast. Afterwards, we see Steve back at his hotel. One of the staff at the hotel says something, and then calls some men in a car waiting outside. Steve spots their lame attempts to hide from him, and then this happens. Okay, let's do that again, but this time with the scoring they should have used. Anyway, with the thugs out of action, Steve goes to talk to Captain Serge, who rented Charlie his boat. Apparently works in a warehouse that stores water bottles. However, like most people so far, he's not pleased to see Steve. Steve disarms him and fights off a man with a bat, at which point the captain starts to stumble through his lines.
His assistant boy.
Which Steve deciphers to mean that Charlie's assistant, Dr. Emil Boa, was also aboard the boat. But the captain refuses to give him any more information.
This is Sofia.
Is murder any different here?
Actually, in Sofia, it just makes people spit red drinks out of their mouths. See? So yes, the captain conveniently only gives enough exposition to carry the plot without ending it here. And then this happens. I don't think I even have to say anything about that, that's funny on its own.